So Geeks Academy was created in 1916. The idea was to create an academy to help those wishing to work in the data economy environment to do that, even starting from zero, even without any academic diplomas or degree. And since then, we have already trained over 300 people. They are all working. They are successful professionals in the fields of cybersecurity, big data, of course, data science, gaming, coding. Here you see the locations of our network in Italy and abroad, because we started this year to enlarge the network at the international level. Lugano in Switzerland, Singapore, and Seoul. Here you have an idea of our, so they say that big data are the gold of 21st century. Teachers are the gold of Geeks Academy. And Stefano is representing tonight all of them. So let me, sorry, but we have uploaded the slides, in my case, in Italian language, but we will tomorrow send you the link to the registration of the webinar of this evening, plus the brochure in English of Geeks Academy. But just to let you know that Geeks Academy covers 6 areas: cybersecurity, data science, artificial intelligence, blockchain, gaming, and coding. And how do we deliver our programs? We build them in different lengths. So we have the 120 hours program, which is the starter pack. Then we have the junior expert program, which is 240 hours. We have the junior professional formula, which is 360 hours, plus training in a partner company. And then we have the mastery program. It's a 1-year-long program made of 480 hours. Okay, those are part-time programs, online programs. So even for those tonight here with us, we have an education offer in English language. On top of that, we organize boot camps, residential boot camps in Rome or Milan. So let's make an example. We can have a big data program, 360 hours, with a boot camp lab in Rome, a week-long one, where we can practice then together what has been taught in the hours, online live. All programs online live are recorded, so they are available to students for later on streaming. Okay, so that's very important. The bet we have done when we started Geeks Academy was to make it possible for everyone who is passionate to start studying those topics. So we start from scratch, okay? And then we build level after level skills in the chosen field. So here you see the different programs at the moment we deliver in English language. So we have artificial intelligence with Python, where we cover the machine learning, so sklearn or TensorFlow, those are the technology used, but then later on you can ask directly Stefano some more details about that. We have, of course, we cover the blockchain field, and we are also center of exams of the international certification of 𝗃𝗶𝗍. Okay, this is a Dutch organization well known within the European Union, and it delivers programs and certification for English-speaking professionals. And then we have also ethical hacking summer program and the gaming full stack junior professional program, fully taught in English, online, live. Okay, so as we started a bit late because of technical programs, so Stefano, I would ask you to take the floor, as they usually say, and please say a few words about you, about your career, and I'll stay here with you, and we are available later on at the end of the webinar to answer to your questions, both on the topic of the evening, both on the programs we deliver. Okay, so the floor is yours, Stefano.
So hi everybody, I'm Stefano. So Antonio, what should I do? Should I click somewhere to share the presentation, or you can do that?
Yes, I do it for you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so welcome everybody, I'm Stefano. This is the Geeks Academy webinar for the ultimate data science frontiers. So let me just go straight to what we're talking about today. So today is going to be a very, very general overview about data science. What is data science? Where does it come from? Why is it useful? We're going to see why it's important to understand what kind of jobs you can get in the data science for a data science career, why it's so valuable to have a role in data science, what are the most important topics at the moment for data science, what can you do, how can you invest your time, how can you invest your skills in data science, and then we will see why does it make sense today to start a career in data science. So to start investing in yourself and build the technical skills you need to work in this amazing field. So okay, just a few words about me. So I'm the Geeks Academy lecturer for all the data science courses in Rome. So I live here in Rome, and I work for the Geeks Academy. I do the lessons for the Geeks Academy. I teach Python and Python applied to data science, to machine learning, and to artificial intelligence. Professionally, I'm a data scientist. I work at 𝗃𝗶𝗀𝗲 Enterprise, which is the sister company of the 𝗃𝗶𝗀𝗲 company, the ones that produces laptops and PCs and whatever. Before that, I used to work in academia. I was a researcher. I have a PhD in applied mathematics, and at that certain point in my life, I decided to start a career in data science. So I invested in myself, and as everybody, I started to look for a way to improve my skills. And so I met the amazing Geeks Academy, who's hosting us tonight to have this amazing webinar. And I myself am a student, an ex-student, a former student of Geeks Academy. I'm effectively an alumni of Geeks Academy. So what do I do for a living? I'm a data scientist. I work in industrial IoT. What does it mean? It means that a lot of companies today, a lot of manufacturer places, they need data science to improve their factories, their environment, the quality of their products. So they massively invest in data science and in big data because they want to make data-driven business decisions and optimization. And so I work in this field, basically. So I help this company to build IoT, Internet of Things infrastructures, and I basically deal with whatever is analytics and data-driven business decisions. Okay, so before I start and I go in the main topics of tonight, please feel free to drop in any question you have in the comment chat. I will be glad to answer any questions you do. So no problem, you can ask whatever question you have in mind. And we will also have a session for question and answer at the end of my presentation, but feel free to drop in and to write your question in the chat. Okay, so data scientist is probably the sexiest job of the 21st century. So this is probably one of the most famous quotes in the data science community. This is a quote from the Harvard Business Review. So let's talk a little bit about this quote. What does it mean? Why it is so sexy to be a data science today? As you can see from this graph, this is an economic graph from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a place where you can look for a job, when you can post the things you do. I mean, everybody probably knows what LinkedIn is, and LinkedIn went online and tried to understand what is the most published job offer in the last years. So as you can see, machine learning engineer and data scientists are the two top requested jobs in the US market. So this is for 2018, but as you can see also in 2019 and in the recent year, data science and data related big data jobs are in super high demand. The high demand for this kind of jobs is increasing, and it will increase at least for the next decade or so on and so forth. Here you have more data to convince yourself of how much is important to know what data science is, to try to understand whether it makes sense for you to pursue a career in data science. So the request for data science job is exploding everywhere, in the US, here in Europe, here in Italy, where we are now. So, and we want to understand why this is the case. Here you can see a bunch of quotes from some CEO, some big persons in the world. So you see 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀 CEO. You can see Microsoft CEO or Apple CEO or the CEO of LinkedIn, and everybody in these quotes, you can see what they think about data science. What about data? So, for instance, Jeff Weiner, of the CEO of LinkedIn, says that data really powers everything that we do. So LinkedIn is an amazing company. They provide amazing services for everybody. They are worldwide. They work all over the world, and they themselves understand that their work is based on data. So they need data, and data drives whatever services they provide. Or, for instance, see what 𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗀, the retail VP of Apple, says about data. So they say that consumer data will be the biggest differentiator in the next 2 or 3 years. Whoever unlocks the reams of the data and uses it strategically will win. So as you can see, these people who have top-level profiles in the most important companies in the world, they are well aware of what data means. They know how important is data for their businesses, how strategic is to understand data and to deal with data. And as the 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀, the senior advisor of CEO at Microsoft, says, data are becoming the new raw material of business. So gradually, these companies are switching from providing simple services to understanding data and to provide a much broader level of services for everybody. So, but why exactly is the case that data is so strategic and important? Well, the answer is quite simple. In the today world, basically, we have technologies and technical progress that enables basically a massive and continuous data extraction, collection, and storage. It means that we are basically surrounded by devices and source of information. Everybody has a smartphone, everybody has a laptop, everybody goes on the social networks, everybody is buying something online, everybody uses their smartphone to be geolocalized, or you use online banking to do your purchases or everything. So basically, whatever you do in your life, every single action that you do, it is most likely that some service is collecting data about your decisions, about what you do, where you are, and so on and so forth. So basically, you can understand that you are a big chunk of data is related to whatever you do. So companies and other entities, other institutions understand well that having this huge amount of information is critical, because this information can be used to do a lot of things. So the idea is, yes, that big data and data are everywhere. So you can find it everywhere. You can find it in your daily life. You can find it in whatever you do. So, and as you can see from this slide, there are a lot of topics, a lot of areas of technical areas where having a real handle of data allows you to provide really amazing services. So, for instance, we already talked about that in e-commerce. You can use the data from your customers to understand who your customers are. Understanding who your customers are means that you can recommend better product to them. So you understand your customer, you can provide a better service. And on top of that, you can also analyze the feedback that these customers are giving to you. You can analyze the reviews that these customers give to you. Or, for instance, in manufacturing, which is the field in which I work, having a lot of data allows you to predict and solve problems and optimize things in a very smart and intelligent way. Or you can schedule maintenance. I mean, you can think of large factories, large production plants, and there are a lot of big machines. These machines need to be maintained, sometimes they broke, sometimes they are functioning not well. So if you have enough data about these machines, maybe you are able to predict what are the things that are not going well. You can act proactively on these machines and try to predict and forecast undesired events. Or there are it's easy to convince yourself that there are a lot of amazing things that you can do with data in a lot of different fields, in finance, in banking, or in healthcare also. I mean, really data is changing the landscape of the kind of services, the kind of things that you can do, even in healthcare, even in medicine. You just think of medical image analysis. So you have a lot of images from your patients. Could be an MRI, could be CCR, and whatever. Most of the time, you have a lot of data about your patients, but you don't know what to do with it. So data science and big data techniques can help you gain as much information as possible about these patients. And again, it's really easy to convince yourself how much data is strategic nowadays. And this is another example. These are a bunch of companies, worldwide companies, whose services really rely on the use and the leveraging a massive amount of data. You think of Facebook, for instance. Most of you, I guess, are Facebook users. You go on Facebook, you comment this, and you like that. And basically, Facebook takes all this data and uses to profile you as a customer and try to give you ads, basically. So advices on what you can buy, what you can choose, and whatever. Or Amazon also. Amazon tracks your behavior, your online behavior, your purchasing behavior, and based on this data is able to recommend you with the best product for you, with your best choice for you. Or also Netflix. So you go on Netflix, you watch this film, you watch this other film, and the next day Netflix is able to advise you with the best film for you for tomorrow. I mean, So it's really strategic to understand what's the role of data in today's society. Yeah, basically the concept I would like you to take from this big introduction is data is the new oil. Basically, there is a revolution going on. Is a new industrial revolution. It's called the Industry 4.0, and the engine of this revolution. So what started the motion of this revolution is data. Data is the oil on which this big mechanism is moving. Data is probably the most valuable asset on which you can invest in today's lives, basically. Okay, so here's the billion-dollar question. So you have a lot of services, a lot of devices. All these devices are giving a lot of information. You are tracked basically in everything that you do today. This is a bit scary, but think of this simple question. So you have this amount of data. How can you extract the most value and the most insight from this huge amount of data that is available regarding every single one of us? So the answer is data science. So what is data science? So data science is basically an interdisciplinary field. This field uses different methods, different processes and algorithms to extract knowledge and insight from many structured and unstructured data. So the idea is that you have this amount of data available, and since this explosion of the amount of data that is available for everybody, in the last decades, a new discipline was born. This discipline is data science. Data science is a combination of scientific method, models and algorithms. So you use scientific methods to basically to pose a question. So you have a business question, you have a research question, you have a lot of data to understand this question and to solve this question. So what do? You use models. Models are mathematical entities, mathematical description of the reality that is outside, and you use algorithms to solve these mathematical, to solve and understand these mathematical models in order to solve the research question that you have. It may be a research question, it may be a business question, whatever. So the idea is that you put all together a lot of techniques coming from statistics, probability, computer science, engineering, mathematics, and algorithms in order to have a very massive, super powered bunch of tools that you can use to be aggressive on this problem and to understand this problem and take the most value outside of this problem. So the idea is exactly this one that I'm depicting in this slide. So imagine that big data is a big giant chunk of marble. So it's nice to have a chunk of marble in your house, but there's not much use to it if it's like this. So there is a lot of things inside this marble, but probably is not in the best shape. So you can think of the big data as a big marble, and then through the process of data science, this marble becomes a piece of art. Here I'm using, I'm exploiting the Michelangelo's David, and the message that I want to send you that you have a lot of things to do in big data. Data is everywhere. Data science is basically the discipline that helps you go from the unformed, a massive amount of data that you have available to something valuable, which is some insight. Is this something valuable? Could be a business insight, could be a research insight, could be explaining a phenomena, could be extracting economic value, basically. So this is the data science process, the data science process in a nutshell, basically. So a lot of data, highly specific tools, highly state-of-the-art tools, in order to take from this amount of data something which is valuable for us. So it could be, again, it could be analytical research question, trying to understand the phenomena and try to give an explanation for something that is happening, or simply trying to leverage this data to take to sell some services and to extract economic value from this data. So what can you do in data science today? There are a lot of super incredible topics to work in data science. Here I'm just mentioning 6 of them, just to give you an insight, just to give you an idea of what amazing things you can do in data science today. So probably the first one, and still the most important, is business analytics. So you can think of companies, they all have a lot of data, and they want to use this data to provide better services to their customers. It could be advising customers to buy the best product for them, could be optimizing production in order to have better quality products, and so on and so forth. So basically, still today, data science first and most important application is business. So in business, there is a lot of data. You want to leverage the data in order to get some insight, to get some economic value out of it. Another amazing topic that you can work on in data science is smart cities. So there is a a movement, a technological movement, which is saying that the cities in which we live in could be optimized, could be made much better working for us. It could be driving less buses, or new transportation methods, or I don't know, more secure, better controlled cities. And you can imagine that the city now is all connected with a lot of devices, internet connections, cameras for security, and so on and so forth. Transportation, data about transportation, data about citizens' habits, and so on and so forth. So you can imagine that from this big architecture, which are the modern cities, a huge amount of data is coming out, and more and more institutions, public institutions, are investing in building better cities, much more optimized cities, where data science can really make a difference in providing a better quality of life for the citizens. Another amazing field you can work on in data science is image recognition. So this is really an hot topic today. There are a lot of amazing data scientists that are working in this field. So easily you can understand why it's so important. So you can use image coming from cameras for security reasons, in order to detect people coming from outside, robbers, or you want to use it to understand who's coming in a given road, or who's entering your shop or your house, and whatever. So you can use data science to make system learn what are the different things that you want to recognize. Animals, your family, the normal things that you have at home, and data science will help you in providing something that can do the dirt job for you. So the idea is that instead of you watching the camera, watching the output of the camera, you can teach a computer to do that for you, to recognize if something is wrong, if somebody not desired is entering your house, and so on and so forth. So there is a really a lot going on in this field nowadays in data science. So in image recognition in particular. Another incredible field is mobility. So you imagine your car or the bus, or the metro, or whatever. More and more companies are investing in try to provide a better quality of driving with your cars. So how can you do that? So basically you connect your phone to your car, Through this phone, you can communicate with your car. You can the car can communicate with you. Maybe the car wants to tell you that something is wrong inside the car, and so you maybe need to go to the assistance, and you can optimize your traveling your way of driving. So the car really can give you a lot of information to you as a driver. But how can you teach your car to understand if something is wrong with the engine? Luckily, data science is coming to the help. So there are a lot of researchers that are working in this area. You can use the data from your machine, for your car, in order to understand when something is wrong with the engine or the lights, or if your tires need to be changed, or whatever. So you can extract a lot of data. This data is probably going to some server, in the cloud, and the companies that produces the car takes this data, understands, and creates a data science model in order to provide you as a driver the best service possible. Again, I already talked about industrial IoT. Industrial IoT is another very important and very hot field in data science today. So a lot of companies, a lot of big manufacturers are trying to invest in their facilities. They want to update their facilities to the new laws. They really want to optimize their production lines. They want to invest big on data science and big data in order to have optimized productions, a higher level of maintenance, and so on and so forth. So also the industrial IoT area is another very important topic today. I'm working in this area. There is a lot of things going on. It's really interesting. So I really encourage you to consider working in this field and try to understand what's going on in this field. And probably one of the most important topics in data science today is NLP, natural language processing and speech recognition. So you know what is Alexa, you know what is Siri. These are data science-driven intelligences. So basically, Siri is a data science model. So you can think of Siri as a data science application. So the Siri is based on speech recognition. Speech recognition is basically the process through which you talk to your smartphone, and the smartphone understands what you're saying and tries to extract the meaning of what you say. So basically, in this way, you can communicate and tell your smartphone what you can do. This is incredible. If you think about it, you are teaching a piece of aluminum or plastic to communicate with you and to do what you want. So behind this, there is the data science contribution in speech recognition. This is a very hot field right now. You can think of Alexa, for instance. You can think of Siri. You can think of Cortana for Microsoft. All these services really are based on data science techniques. Data science techniques that allow computers to understand what you as a customer, as a user, are trying to communicate to them in order to satisfy your needs as a user. So this is probably the most hot topic field at the moment in data science. There is a lot going on in this field, and also, I mean, a lot of amazing things to do in data science today. And this is just a bunch of them. There are other important topics like data science application for healthcare, for medics. I'm not going to talk about it today, but I mean, basically, data is everywhere. Where is data, there is data science. Data science really helps you extracting the most value from this gigantic amount of data that you have nowadays. So, probably the most important question of this presentation today: what do you need in order to become a data scientist? So, do you need a math degree? Do you need a computer science degree or a PhD in something? or whatever you can think. Do you really need to be highly skilled mathematician to be a data scientist? So my answer to this question is not necessarily. So what do you need in order to become a data scientist? You need passion, curiosity, motivation, and self-discipline. So, and why is that? So the idea is that nowadays we have a lot of sources to learn things. So you can learn about machine learning models online. There are online courses. There are, for instance, the amazing courses given by the Geeks Academy. These sources of information can really give you a substantial idea about what data science is and about the machine learning and then artificial intelligence models that you can use in your daily life. Luckily, you can start building your own project using a very simple programming language, which is Python. So Python is a programming language. Is the programming language of data science, basically. Is for sure the most common data science programming language. And in Python, there are a lot of libraries. There's called libraries, which are the ones that I'm showing in this slide right now. These libraries really are built for you as a user to use machine learning models without really knowing the full mathematical details of these machine learning models. So the idea is that you learn, you study, your curiosity, your passion really allow you to understand what these machine learning models do, what these techniques are about, but you can use these really amazing tools that you have today in order to design and to program your own machine learning models. So you don't really need to be a high-level mathematician to do machine learning, to do artificial intelligence. You have all these amazing libraries that will help you doing your own project, doing your own data science projects and machine learning projects. So you have a lot of technologies and programming platforms that help you implement state-of-the-art machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms without fully knowing the mathematical deals behind them. So basically, you can use these machine learning models as a black box. You know the high-level functioning of these machine learning models, but you don't know, you may not know the crisp mathematical details. So the more you know, of course, the more mathematics you are into, the better for you, the more understanding you have of what's going on in your model. But of course, in order to implement it, you don't really need to know that. So this is basically the message that I want to give to you. And I'm wrapping up this presentation by answering these questions. So does it make sense today to pursue a career in data science? So my answer is, of course, yes. Why? Because first of all, it's a highly demanded job. So there are a lot of positions everywhere. In LinkedIn, there are a lot of positions in data science. Typically, it's a well-paid career. So the remuneration for these roles is really important. It's valuable. It's also again, it's really a prestigious work because again, the data science is probably the sexiest job you can look for nowadays, and most importantly, is a versatile work. You do basically everything. You do from mathematical modeling, from business modeling to programming, to talking with clients, so to proposing new solutions. It's really a brilliant way of working. It's an amazing topic. There are a lot of things going on. And so my advice is, of course, consider pursuing a career in data science because it's super cool. So that's it for me on my side. So I'm happy to take your answers, to take your questions in case you have any.
Thank you very much, Stefano. So here we are, ready to answer to the questions of our public here on our platform, or also is possible through our direct streaming on Facebook.
So I guess there is we have a first question, which is can artificial intelligence replace human intelligence?
Great. Yes.
that's a great question. I would say no. My answer to this is no. Artificial intelligence can replace a human doing tasks. So basically, you can teach a computer doing something. I don't believe that artificial intelligence will replace human activity, human creativity at the moment. We are still way ahead of artificial intelligence models and so on and so forth. But this is my opinion. If you go online, if you go listening to other people, maybe they would feel different about this. Anyway, it's a good question. My question to you is if if artificial intelligence will replace indeed the human intelligence, which side would you like to be? I guess in the side of artificial intelligence. But anyway, this is just a joke.
Yes, let me add one point to these questions. This is a huge debate. There has been in the past months a confrontation between Elon Musk on one side and Zuckerberg on the other side. So the Elon Musk also trying to say, let's be careful, about the development of artificial intelligence. And then on the other side, Zuckerberg, who is fully open to this development. So the debate is going on. But personally, I fully agree with you, Stefano. We are the master of those softwares. Yep. We are creating them. So they will be doing what we are going to program, what we are going to write on those, in that code.
That's the point. We are still the masters here. We build artificial intelligence method to help us, and they've been great to assist humans in doing a lot of boring tasks, like watching images, reading a bunch of online reviews all together, extracting the most information out of documents or whatever. I mean, whatever you can think. It's been super amazing what artificial intelligence can do in the last few decades. But still, we are really safe for now to be the master of these methods. So another question.
So, yes, Nadia from Slovakia. For business analytics, which platform would you choose to learn as first?
So not just for business analytics. In general, I strongly believe that Python is probably the most important thing you want to learn if you are considering pursuing a career in data science. So Python is for sure the language of data science right now. So it's a super cool, super easy to use programming language. It's super versatile. Is really fluid in the way it is programmed. So it's really helpful for you in first of all in getting in contact about what data science is, what it means to make a machine learning model, what it means to use artificial intelligence in a really easy to use way. So my advice is start considering learning the basics of Python. From there, try to improve yourself, try to learn more and more, and try to start considering doing your first projects, your first data science projects in Python, of course. And from Python, then you can move to other more sophisticated programming languages that are great programming languages that are outside there.
So we have a question. We have a question from Mesham from India. What are the scope and right approach for getting projects as freelancing to start data science learning?
What are the scope and the right approach for getting projects as freelancing? So I guess the question here is about somebody who's probably already in the data science field and is starting to know, he wants to know how to get some projects. So probably if you want to get hired as a freelance in data science today, what you have to do is to become famous. You have to be somebody recognized in the community. So what you want to do is try to do the competitions online, trying to be famous on these huge platforms like, 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 and other platforms like this. So you wanna contribute to the community to a high level. So I don't know if you know what 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 is. 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 is a platform where people post data science and other topics questions. So typically you have a database and you have a task related to the database. And basically, who provides the best solution, the most optimized solution for this specific problem gets points. The more points you get, the more famous you become in the community. The more famous you are in the community, the more people are going to call you and look for your expertise to do projects, to be big projects. So what I would like to do if I were to pursue a career as a freelance data science is to really understand how the community works, what are the influential data scientists out there, and try to, become famous and land a couple of important projects in these platforms. I hope this answered your question, 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀. Thank you for the question. Thank you very much.
There are two questions concerning Python and R.
Python all the way.
Exactly. One asks which one is the best, and the other question asks just what's the relation, the one versus the others. The other.
So depends on what you want to do. If you want to do data science, I'm really 100% sure that the best thing to do is to learn Python. There are several reasons. One is because Python, again, is the language of data science. So right now, data science community is speaking a language, and that the language is Python. So if you want to pursue a career in data science, you should learn Python. R is an amazing tool, but is not thought for data science applications. It's thought for probably more econometrics, statistics, research. If you want to do business, if you want to do data science projects, modern data science projects, probably Python is much better. So sorry for the R fans out there, but I'm pretty sure Python is the right answer.
Stefano, can you type in the name of the platform you mentioned right before?
So the name of the platform is 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲, 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗃. So I typed that in the chat. Thanks to you, Nadia. No problem. I'm sorry, 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀. I called you 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀. You're 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗃.
𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗃. Okay. COVID-19 predictions, R or Python?
Again, I do my COVID-19 predictions in Python, but if you want to try R, it's fine. Whatever is you do on your laptop, basically, probably you can do that in R as well as in Python. There's no problem. But when you do production, when you want to use your data science model in a real world application where data is coming live on the fly, then you want to use the optimized language, and that optimized language is Python.
Let's also say that Python is more versatile. You can learn it for data science, but then you can use it even in other fields. We have to say that Python is compulsory also for those students in the curricula of cybersecurity, for example.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So if you have to invest energy, time, then really we would strongly suggest to invest that time in studying Python, which is something you can later on using used also in other fields. I mentioned cybersecurity, but there might be other fields. It's becoming important also in the field of gaming, for example.
Of course.
So
yes.
Python for gaming. So it's something which is probably often taught in universities, for example. But then, let's say in real life, when you go out, when you start working in companies, more and more Python is the language required. Okay.
Yeah. The thing I say most of the time is that Python, as you said, Python is super versatile. So it's a language with which you can communicate with totally different sources of data. So it's really important. So you can think that data is coming in from different directions. Typically, Python is very useful because it can speak with these sources in a very efficient way, in a very democratic way, let's say. So it's really democratic as a language programming. And in fact, it is used in cybersecurity, it's used in gaming, it's used in data science.
In blockchain
as well.
Students studying blockchain for the backend part, we can use either JavaScript or again Python. So Python, it's really, that's why it's so successful. Has been in the last year the most used, most popular coding language, and in the last years has replaced Java as the first programming language studied in universities, in American universities. Why? Because it has a dropout rate lower than compared to other programs, which is it's easier to learn, let's say.
Yeah, that's exactly true, yes. And on top of that, it's super fun to use.
Exactly.
That's my personal opinion. It's fun.
I had the pleasure when I attended one of the first lesson of Python, after 45 minutes, to see Hello World on terminal. You know, I don't know with how many language you can have, after 40 minutes already the ability to, to have Hello World on your terminal. So we are running out of time. We are at 10:10 p.m. If there is any question, we would answer. So there is a question about replace Java. I mean, Java is still popular, is used. So I would not say replacing Java. I used a news I read in the press that as first language to learn or to introduce students to coding, they use now Python instead of Java. Okay, I'm just answering to Alessandro that just asked that question. So, okay, thank you to you, Nadia. So if there are no more questions, then we would say goodbye and good night, at least here in Italy it's night. I don't know in India what time is it now. Maybe Ashutosh, you can tell us what time is it there. Okay, so we wait you for the next week on Thursday night again at 9 o'clock. We start a new format called Meet the Geek. So you will meet former students and they will tell you about their present experience. By the way, this year you had both. You had the webinar and Meet the Geek, because Stefano is member of our alumni, is a former student of us and a very successful professional in his career. So that was the best way to create a connection between the webinars and the Meet the Geek format. Okay. So thank you again, Stefano. Thank you very much. You have found time to devote and to share your knowledge with our public. It's not easy because we are all working a lot with this smart working. It seemed that it would be easier, but we are working even twice as much as before. So thank you again for having found some time. And we keep in touch with all of you. We'll send you tomorrow the link to the registration of the webinar tonight so that you can see it again. You can watch it at home with your friends in the next days. Good night. We say in Italy, buona notte. Ciao.
Bye-bye, guys. Stay safe.